Stop. This is not just another video. This is the one message you've been praying for, and if you skip it, you could lose the biggest financial miracle of your life. Yes, you heard me right. God is ready to release an overwhelming amount of wealth into your life. But here's the catch. If you don't watch this video until the very end, this blessing could vanish before your eyes. I'm talking about a life-changing, mind-blowing financial breakthrough that most people can only dream of. And guess what? It's been reserved just for you. Imagine this: waking up tomorrow and seeing more money in your bank account than you've ever seen before. Money that can wipe out your debts, pay off every bill, and leave you with financial freedom you've only fantasized about. But here's where it gets real. Only those who stay with me until the very end will find out how to unlock this blessing. If you click away now, you'll never know how close you were to receiving a miracle that could alter the course of your life forever. You're probably wondering, is this even possible? Let me tell you, this isn't just possible, it's happening right now. God has chosen this moment to reveal His plan for your financial breakthrough, but not everyone will be ready to receive it. Only a handful of people will have the faith and courage to stay until the end, and they will be the ones who walk away with the knowledge of how to claim this divine wealth. Do you really want to be the one who misses out because you didn't stick around? Think about all the times you've prayed for a sign, for a way out of your financial struggles. What if this is the answer to those prayers? This is not a coincidence. You didn't find this message by accident. God is speaking to you right now, and He's opening the door to an opportunity that could erase years of stress, worry, and financial hardship. But, and this is critical, if you don't pay attention, if you let distractions pull you away, you might miss the exact steps that will unlock your blessing. Can you afford to let that happen? Right now, there's a divine financial miracle heading your way, but it's only for those who are willing to take action. Are you one of them? If you're still here, it means God is preparing you for something bigger than you've ever imagined. But you have to act fast. The window to receive this blessing is closing, and once it's gone, it may never come again. This isn't just about getting money, it's about stepping into the overflow, living in abundance, and finally breaking free from the financial chains that have held you back. Let me be clear, this isn't a dream. It's happening right now, and God has chosen you to be part of it. But the reality is, not everyone will be brave enough to stick it out until the end. Some people will miss this miracle because they didn't have the patience or the faith to see it through. Don't be one of them. This is your chance to change everything, but you have to stay with me. I'm about to reveal exactly how you can position yourself to receive this blessing, and trust me, you do not want to miss it. Imagine how different your life could look just days from now. Free from financial stress, overflowing with unexpected wealth, and finally able to live the life you've always wanted. That's what's at stake here. But the clock is ticking, and this opportunity is slipping through the fingers of those who aren't paying attention. Will you be the one who claims it, or will you look back and regret missing out on the moment God was trying to change your life? This is not hype, this is real, and it's happening right now. If you've ever doubted that God could bring financial miracles into your life, let this be your confirmation. He can, and He will, but only if you're ready to receive. So stay with me. What I'm about to share will change your financial future, but only if you're willing to see it through. Don't miss this moment. It could be the key to everything you've been praying for. There are moments in life when everything seems uncertain, and suddenly, something extraordinary happens. Imagine receiving a financial blessing out of nowhere, a miracle that changes everything. This kind of divine intervention isn't just about luck, it's about being in the right place spiritually to receive God's abundance. Many people pray for a financial breakthrough, but few are truly ready to embrace the blessing when it comes. The key is to open your heart and mind, believing that such a miracle is not only possible but also meant for you. Sometimes, this blessing comes when you least expect it. It's like walking through a storm and finding a ray of sunshine breaking through the clouds. Think of the times you felt overwhelmed by financial stress, wondering if there's any way out. Then, in a moment, something shifts. God's blessing flows into your life, like a river bursting its banks. This isn't just about receiving money, it's about experiencing a complete transformation in your financial reality, one that only divine intervention can bring. God's desire is to give you this unexpected financial blessing, but it requires faith. Too often, we limit ourselves by doubting that something so grand can happen to us. But God operates beyond human limitations. What might seem impossible to us is a mere detail in His divine plan. This is the time to let go of doubts and embrace the certainty that this blessing is for you. Like a seed that needs time to grow, your miracle is already on its way. But are you ready to receive it? Think of the stories you've heard, of people who were down to their last dollar, only to receive a financial blessing that turned their lives around. It's not just luck or coincidence, it's God's plan unfolding. These blessings are often so unexpected, they feel like a dream, but they are real, tangible examples of God's provision. Imagine what that could look like in your life: a sudden inheritance, a job opportunity, or an unexpected raise. These are just a few examples of how God might bring about this transformation. This isn't just about wealth, though. It's about freedom. Financial blessings from God often come with the added gift of peace, allowing you to live without the constant worry of how you'll make ends meet. Picture waking up each day knowing that your needs are met, that you're free to pursue your passions without the burden of financial strain. It's a shift not just in your bank account, but in your entire way of life. And the best part? This blessing is designed specifically for you, tailored by God to meet your unique needs. You might wonder why this blessing hasn't arrived yet. The truth is, God's timing is perfect. What might seem like a delay is actually preparation. There's a reason you haven't received this financial miracle yet, and it's not because God is withholding it. He is preparing you, positioning you, so that when the blessing comes, you'll know exactly how to use it. This preparation period is crucial because it ensures that you'll not only receive the blessing, but also sustain it. God wants this miracle to bring long-lasting transformation, not just a temporary fix. God's blessings often come when you're on the brink of giving up. It's in those moments of doubt, where you feel like you've done everything and nothing is working, that He steps in. That's the beauty of divine intervention. It arrives when you're at your weakest, showing you that it was never about your strength or efforts. It's all about God's grace. So if you're feeling like you've reached your limit, know that this is precisely when God is about to act. Your financial blessing could be just around the corner. The Bible is full of examples of unexpected financial miracles. Think about the story of Elijah and the widow of Zarephath. She was down to her last meal, preparing to die, when Elijah came and asked her for food. In that moment, God provided for her in a way that she couldn't have imagined. What seemed like her end became the beginning of an abundant life. This is the kind of blessing God is preparing for you, a miracle that will not only meet your needs but exceed them in ways you never thought possible. Your financial breakthrough could come in many forms. Perhaps it's through an investment that suddenly pays off, or a business idea that finally takes off. Maybe it's an unexpected gift from someone who feels led to help you. Whatever form it takes, know that it's not random. It's God orchestrating things behind the scenes to bring this blessing into your life. But here's the thing, you have to be open to receiving it. Often, we miss out on these blessings because we don't believe we're worthy of them. God is preparing a blessing that will completely change your life. But it's more than just financial gain. It's about positioning you to be a blessing to others. Imagine what you could do with the resources that God is about to place in your hands. You could help those in need, support causes you're passionate about, and create a legacy that lasts beyond your lifetime. This isn't just about you, it's about how God can use you to bring blessings to the world. And when this blessing arrives, it will be unmistakable. You won't have to question whether it's from God because it will align perfectly with His timing, His provision, and His plans for your life. This financial miracle will come at the perfect moment, and when it does, it will bring peace, joy, and a sense of purpose like you've never experienced before. The question is, are you ready to receive it? You might feel a sense of anticipation building as you think about this. That's not by accident. It's a sign that God is already at work, preparing this blessing for you. The more you align yourself with His will, the closer you come to receiving it. This is the time to be expectant, to pray with boldness, and to act in faith. The blessing is already on its way. Now it's just a matter of time before it reaches your hands. The first step to receiving a blessing is acknowledging that it's on its way. Speak it into existence. Declare that this financial miracle is yours and that it's coming. Words have power, and when you speak in faith, you align yourself with God's plan. Start today by affirming that this blessing is not just possible, but that it's meant for you. As you speak these words, watch how your mindset shifts, opening the door for this miracle to manifest in your life. Just as a seed needs the right conditions to grow, your financial blessing requires the right mindset. Begin today by nurturing a mindset of abundance, believing that there is more than enough for you. This isn't just about money, it's about a transformation in how you see yourself and your relationship with God. When you trust in His provision, you create the perfect environment for miracles to happen. It's incredible how quickly life can change when God is involved. We often think that miracles take time, but the truth is, God can bring about a total transformation in just 10 minutes. Imagine feeling the weight of financial burdens, and in the span of a few minutes, that weight is lifted entirely. This is the power of God's intervention. It doesn't follow human timelines. When God decides to act, everything can shift in an instant. Your circumstances today might feel overwhelming, but in 10 minutes, they could look completely different. Think about the times in your life when everything seemed to be going wrong, and then out of nowhere, things started to turn around. This is the kind of sudden change God can bring, especially in your financial life. You might wake up feeling stressed about money, and by the end of the day, you could receive news that changes everything. God doesn't need a lot of time to work. He just needs a moment of faith. That's all it takes to invite Him into your situation and allow Him to bring about a miracle. There's a special kind of urgency that comes with this knowledge. Knowing that God can change your life in just 10 minutes means that every moment counts. It's not about waiting for the right time, it's about being ready now. Are you prepared for this blessing? Sometimes, we miss out on miracles because we aren't ready to receive them. But when you align your heart with God's plan, you set the stage for that 10-minute transformation to happen. It could be a phone call, an email, or a conversation that turns your situation around completely. It's important to stay expectant. Too often, we let discouragement block us from believing that change can happen so quickly. But if you reflect on the Bible, you'll see countless examples of God acting in an instant. From parting the Red Sea to healing the blind, God has always worked in ways that defy time. He's not limited by human understanding or schedules. This same power is available to you today. The only thing standing between you and your miracle is the willingness to believe that it can happen now. This 10-minute miracle isn't just about solving your financial problems. It's about a deeper transformation. In just a short time, God can take you from a place of lack to a place of abundance, not just financially, but spiritually as well. Imagine the freedom you'd feel knowing that your financial struggles are over, and you can move forward with confidence. This kind of change impacts every area of your life, from your relationships to your health. It's a ripple effect, starting with one miracle and spreading to every corner of your existence. In those 10 minutes, God can also change the lives of those around you. When He blesses you, it doesn't stop with just you. Your blessing overflows, touching your family, friends, and even strangers. This is the nature of God's provision. It's never just enough for one person. It's always more than enough. So as you prepare for your own miracle, consider how it will impact the people in your life. This financial blessing is designed to be shared, multiplying the good that God is doing in the world. You might be wondering what you can do in those 10 minutes to invite this transformation. One powerful action is to pray with expectation. Instead of asking with doubt, start speaking with certainty that God is already at work. Your words carry power, and when you declare God's promises over your life, you open the door for His blessings. Another action is to give, even when it feels like you don't have much to offer. Giving out of faith creates space for God's provision to flow into your life. It's a principle that has been proven time and time again. One practical step you can take today is to prepare yourself mentally and spiritually for this sudden change. Clear your mind of doubts and focus on the truth that God is always working for your good. Start each day with a declaration of faith, saying, "Today is the day my financial blessing will arrive." This simple act shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance, making it easier to recognize when God is moving in your life. It's about being in the right mindset to receive. Another thing to consider is how you will handle this blessing when it arrives. What will you do with the resources God places in your hands? It's important to have a plan, not just for your own benefit, but for the benefit of others. God's blessings are meant to be stewarded wisely, so think about how you can use this financial breakthrough to help others. Whether it's supporting your family, giving to a cause, or investing in a dream, there are countless ways to multiply the impact of God's blessing. Sometimes, the biggest changes come when we least expect them. That's why it's crucial to always be prepared. If you live each day expecting God to act, you'll be ready when the moment comes. In those 10 minutes, everything can change, but only if you're open to receiving that change. This is why staying connected to God is so important. It keeps you aligned with His will and ready for whatever He has in store. Don't let doubt or fear stand in the way of your blessing. Faith is the foundation upon which miracles are built, especially when it comes to receiving financial blessings. It's not enough to simply wish for a breakthrough. You must believe, deep in your heart, that God has the power to bring it to pass. This faith isn't just a vague hope, it's an active trust in God's promises. It's the kind of faith that moves mountains, as the Bible says. When you stand firm in your belief that God will provide, you unlock the door to financial miracles that defy human logic. But how do you cultivate this level of faith? It starts by feeding your mind and spirit with God's truth. The more you immerse yourself in His Word, the stronger your faith becomes. It's like training a muscle. The more you exercise it, the more powerful it gets. Reading scriptures that speak of God's provision and power, such as Philippians 4 verse 19, "And my God will supply every need of yours according to His riches in glory," reminds you that financial blessings are not only possible, but they are also promised. Faith also requires action. It's one thing to say you trust God, but it's another to step out in that trust. Think about Peter when he stepped out of the boat to walk on water. It wasn't until he took that step of faith that the miracle occurred. In your financial life, this could mean making a bold move, whether it's starting a new business, making an investment, or simply giving generously, even when it seems counterintuitive. These actions are expressions of faith, showing that you trust God to provide, even when it doesn't make sense. There will be moments when doubt tries to creep in. It's human nature to question when things don't go as planned. But remember, faith isn't the absence of doubt. It's the choice to trust God in the midst of uncertainty. When doubt arises, combat it with prayer and declarations of God's power. Saying aloud, "I trust you, God, to bring my financial blessing," is a powerful way to reinforce your faith. Speak it until you believe it. Over time, your faith will become stronger than your fears. Another key to building faith is surrounding yourself with testimonies of God's power. Hearing stories of how others have experienced financial miracles can inspire and strengthen your belief. Maybe you've heard of someone who received an unexpected inheritance or got a promotion out of the blue. These aren't just coincidences. They are reminders of what God can do in your own life. The more you expose yourself to these testimonies, the easier it becomes to believe that your miracle is on the way. Faith also grows through gratitude. Even before your financial blessing arrives, start thanking God for it. This act of gratitude shows that you trust Him to fulfill His promises. It's a way of saying, "God, I know you're already working on my behalf, and I'm grateful for the blessing that's coming." Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance, helping you stay aligned with God's provision. It's a small act that has a big impact on your mindset and your faith. Faith is not a passive thing. It's dynamic, alive, and active. It requires constant nurturing, especially when you're waiting for a financial breakthrough. You can't just believe once and then forget about it. You need to continually feed your faith through prayer, scripture, and positive affirmations. Faith is like a flame that needs to be stoked regularly. The more attention you give it, the brighter it burns, lighting the way to your financial miracle. There are also practical ways to strengthen your faith in God's financial provision. One way is by keeping a journal of your prayers and the blessings that follow. Writing down your prayers helps you see how God is working, even in small ways. Over time, you'll be able to look back and see the patterns of God's faithfulness, which will fuel your faith for the future. This practice turns your focus away from the challenges and toward the consistent ways God shows up in your life. Faith also requires patience. Sometimes, the hardest part is waiting. But even in the waiting, God is working. The delay is not a denial. It's often a time of preparation. God is building your character and strengthening your faith so that when the blessing arrives, you'll be ready to handle it. Trusting in God's timing is essential, especially when it comes to financial blessings. What may feel like a long wait to you is actually God setting up the perfect moment for your miracle. There's a difference between wishing for something and having faith in it. Wishing is passive, but faith is active. It's the belief that what you're hoping for is already on its way. Start living as if the blessing is already here. This doesn't mean being reckless, but it does mean walking in confidence. When you have faith that God is providing for you, it changes the way you handle your finances. You make decisions from a place of abundance rather than fear. Another practical example of faith in action is tithing. Even when finances are tight, tithing is a way of showing that you trust God's provision. It's a tangible act of faith that says, "I believe God can do more with 90% than I can do with 100%. Many people have experienced financial breakthroughs by simply being obedient in this area. When you give God your first and best, He blesses the rest, often in ways you could never have anticipated. When your faith in God's power is strong, it changes everything. You no longer live in fear of what might happen, because you know that God is in control. You understand that He's working behind the scenes to bring about your financial breakthrough. This faith allows you to live in peace, knowing that your needs will be met. It's a shift from worrying about how things will work out to trusting that God has already made a way. And as your faith grows, so does your capacity to receive more of God's blessings. Faith enlarges your spiritual container, allowing you to hold more of what God wants to give you. God has a unique, exclusive financial blessing prepared just for you, something so personal and tailor-made that no one else can receive it. This blessing is designed to fit your exact needs, situation, and future plans. Often, we think that blessings are general, but God knows the intricacies of your life. He's crafting a miracle that is meant to elevate you in ways you never imagined. It's not just about wealth, it's about positioning you in the perfect place to fulfill your purpose. One of the most important things about receiving this exclusive blessing is the need for silence. Sometimes, when God is working something special in your life, it's best to keep it to yourself. The reason? Not everyone is ready to understand or support the blessing that's coming your way. They might doubt it or even try to discourage you. But when you hold this blessing quietly in your heart, you give it time to grow and manifest. It's a sacred thing between you and God. This idea of keeping silent about your blessing isn't about secrecy, it's about protection. Like a seed planted in the ground, this financial miracle needs time to take root. If you expose it too early, you risk damaging its growth. It's similar to how an artist works on their masterpiece in private before revealing it to the world. God is the ultimate artist, and He's working on your financial masterpiece. Allow Him to finish before you share it with others. Another reason for this silence is to avoid unnecessary distractions. When you start sharing your plans or blessings prematurely, you might invite opinions that create doubt or confusion. People might try to project their own fears onto your situation. But by keeping your focus on God and His promise, you can stay in a place of faith and confidence. This is your blessing, not theirs, and only you can understand the magnitude of what God is doing in your life. Think about Mary, the mother of Jesus. When the angel told her that she would give birth to the Messiah, she kept many things in her heart. She didn't run around telling everyone. Instead, she trusted in God's timing and allowed His plan to unfold. This is the same approach you should take with your financial blessing. Let God complete His work in you before you announce it to the world. Trust that when the time is right, He will reveal it in a way that glorifies Him and blesses you abundantly. There's also a level of intimacy that comes with keeping this blessing between you and God. It deepens your relationship with Him because it requires trust. You're not looking for validation from others. You're relying solely on God's promise. This exclusive blessing is a private conversation between you and your Creator, and that makes it even more powerful. The more you trust Him, the more you'll see how intricately He's working behind the scenes to bring this blessing to fruition. The exclusivity of this blessing means that it's not something everyone will understand, and that's okay. It's not meant for them, it's meant for you. God has custom designed this financial miracle with your name on it, and it will arrive exactly when you need it. Don't worry about how or when, it's already in motion. Your only job is to remain faithful and open to receiving it. God's timing is perfect, and He never makes mistakes when it comes to blessing His children. You might wonder how you'll know when this blessing is ready to be shared. The truth is, God will give you clear signs. It might be a sense of peace, a specific opportunity, or even a word from someone you trust. When the time comes to reveal what God has done, it will be obvious. Until then, enjoy the process of watching your blessing grow in secret. There's something beautiful about knowing that God is working on something so extraordinary, just for you. Sometimes, the waiting period can be difficult. You might feel tempted to rush things or share your excitement with others. But remember, patience is part of the process. Every blessing requires time to develop, and this financial blessing is no different. Trust that God knows exactly what He's doing, and that this period of waiting is preparing you to handle the abundance that's coming. Use this time to grow in faith, wisdom, and gratitude. This blessing isn't just exclusive in its design, it's also exclusive in its impact. When it arrives, it will set you apart in ways that go beyond financial gain. You'll notice shifts in other areas of your life, relationships, opportunities, and even your sense of purpose. This is because God's blessings are holistic. They don't just touch one part of your life, they transform everything. The financial breakthrough is just the beginning of a much larger divine plan. God is always intentional with His blessings. He doesn't give you something just to make you comfortable. He blesses you to equip you for the next level of your journey. This financial blessing is meant to elevate you, but it's also meant to prepare you for greater responsibilities and opportunities. It's exclusive because only you can fulfill the purpose that comes with it. No one else can take your place in God's plan, and no one else can receive this specific blessing. As you wait for this exclusive financial blessing, focus on aligning your life with God's will. The more you draw closer to Him, the more prepared you'll be to receive what He has for you. This isn't just about being in the right place physically, it's about being in the right place spiritually. Spend time in prayer, meditate on His promises, and watch as God continues to open doors that lead you toward your blessing. And when this blessing arrives, it will exceed your expectations. God never does anything halfway. His blessings are always overflowing, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. You might be expecting a financial breakthrough, but what you'll receive will be so much more than that. It will be a complete transformation of your life, one that touches every part of who you are. Trials are a reminder of your dependence on God. They strip away the illusion that you're in control and bring you back to the truth that God is the one who provides. This reliance on Him is what positions you to receive the financial blessing that's on the way. The challenges you're facing now are not permanent, but the blessing that's coming is eternal. Keep your eyes on the promise, not the problem. Once you've endured the trials and challenges, you'll find that your mindset has been transformed. You'll no longer see yourself as a victim of circumstance, but as a victor in Christ. This shift in perspective is crucial because it prepares you to handle the financial abundance that God is bringing into your life. The trials were never meant to destroy you. They were meant to build you into the person who can steward God's blessing wisely. It's also important to be patient with yourself during this transformation. Changing your mindset doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. There will be moments when old thought patterns try to creep back in, but that's normal. The key is to stay committed to the process. Keep feeding your mind with God's Word, surround yourself with positivity, and remind yourself daily of God's promises. Over time, you'll notice that your mindset has shifted from one of scarcity to one of abundance. As you embrace this new mindset, you'll begin to see evidence of God's provision in your life. It might start with small things, a financial blessing here, an opportunity there, but these are just the beginning. The more you trust in God's abundance, the more you'll see His hand at work in your finances. This transformation isn't just about changing your thoughts, it's about changing your entire relationship with money. Instead of seeing it as something scarce, you'll begin to see it as a tool that God provides to accomplish His purposes. The first step in this mental revolution is recognizing that scarcity is a lie. The world may try to convince you that there's not enough to go around, But God's kingdom operates on a completely different principle: abundance. The Bible is filled with promises of God's provision, from Philippians 4 verse 19, which says, "And my God will supply every need of yours according to his riches in glory," to the story of the feeding of the 5,000, where Jesus multiplied a few loaves and fish to feed a crowd. These examples remind us that God doesn't operate within the limits of this world. When you embrace this truth, you begin to think differently about your financial situation. Instead of focusing on what you don't have, you start focusing on what God is capable of providing. This shift in perspective opens the door to receiving financial miracles because it aligns your thinking with God's promises. It's not just about believing in abundance, it's about expecting it. This expectation creates space for God to work in your life in ways that go beyond what you've imagined. A mental revolution also means shifting from a mindset of lack to a mindset of opportunity. Too often, people focus on the barriers in front of them, rather than the opportunities that God is placing in their path. They see obstacles, not possibilities. But when you start thinking from a place of abundance, you begin to see opportunities everywhere. Even in difficult circumstances, you start asking, how can God use this for good? This kind of thinking allows you to recognize opportunities for financial growth and success that you might have otherwise missed. This mindset shift isn't just theoretical, it has real-world applications. For example, someone with a scarcity mindset might avoid taking risks, fearing that they'll lose what little they have. But someone with an abundance mindset knows that God's provision is limitless and that taking steps of faith, even when the outcome is uncertain, can lead to greater blessings. This doesn't mean being reckless, but it does mean trusting God enough to step out in faith, knowing that He will provide for you along the way. This mental revolution also requires shifting how you view yourself. Many people struggle with feelings of unworthiness, believing that they don't deserve financial blessings. But God doesn't bless you because you've earned it. He blesses you because of His grace. When you start to see yourself as a child of God, someone who is deeply loved and cared for, it changes how you approach your financial life. You stop feeling guilty for wanting financial success and start seeing it as part of God's plan for you. In the Bible, we see countless examples of people who underwent a mental revolution and saw incredible results. Think of Abraham, who trusted God's promise of abundance even when it seemed impossible. Or Joseph, who, despite facing trial after trial, held on to the belief that God had a greater plan for his life. These individuals saw God's hand at work in their lives because they chose to believe in His abundance, even when their circumstances suggested otherwise. Their stories serve as a powerful reminder that a mindset of abundance leads to a life of abundance. As you undergo your own mental revolution, it's important to surround yourself with reminders of God's provision. This might mean writing down scriptures that speak to God's abundance and placing them where you can see them daily. It might mean sharing your journey with trusted friends who can encourage you and pray for you. The more you fill your mind with thoughts of abundance, the more you'll begin to see it manifest in your life. A mental revolution is about aligning your thoughts with God's truth. It's about seeing the world through the lens of His provision, rather than the limitations of your circumstances. When you believe in God's abundance, you begin to act in ways that reflect that belief. You take bold steps of faith, you give generously, and you trust that God's blessings are on their way. This mental shift is the key to unlocking financial miracles in your life.